Hi, friends. It's your pal, Scott Garibay. Today, we're going to talk about American politics and we're going to talk about American government shutdown theater. So, this is a term that they actually used on the latest Slate Political Gabfest. So, they had a discussion, and it was like the discussion was compulsory. It was like they had to do it, but nobody wanted to do it. And I thought it was very interesting. So, David Plotz is like, "Oh, they're going to shut down the government again," and then and then um, John Dickerson was like, "Yeah, they're going to. Let me explain what happens." And then he just said it. Like he said, here's what happens. And he says the problem is nobody's paying attention to this anymore. And the reason why is we've been over this again and again and again and again. It's happened like 6 times in the last 4 years, easily, right? And at this point, absolutely nobody's worried about it because nobody believes it's real, right? So basically, because every single time the deal gets struck, and between the Republicans or the Democrats, and also they switch sides. Sometimes it's the Democrats trying to shut it down, sometimes it's the Republicans trying to shut it down, and they threaten each other, and then you're like, and they're like, well, we really need you to understand some people really do get hurt in this. It's these people here, and then they describe what the group is, and you're like, I don't know if I know anybody like that, right? Like I don't know if I know anybody in that thin slice of employees who is going to get impacted. And it sounded like you said they might not get paid for 6 months, 6 weeks, and then they'll get like a bunch of checks all at once, and you're like, is that really a problem? Like it's like it's just it's really, really bad, in that we've reached a point where this is a dance that the Republican Party does with the Democrat Party, the Democrat Party does it with the Republican Party. And it should matter because the words government shutdown should be scary, but absolutely no one is scared because no one believes it's going to happen. They're like, we already have the dance established. You guys are going to do your dance, but I am not really afraid, or I'm not afraid that anything's actually going to happen. I think that everything's going to be fine, just like it was the last 6 times this happened within the last 4 years. And that in itself is a problem, that that we have a government shutdown theater, right? Like, and where it's landed is like, let's say you live in Breezewood, Pennsylvania, right? And there's 2 high schools there, right? And your kid goes to one high school, but your kid does not go to the other high school, right? And so that every spring that other high school is going to have a play, right? And a bunch of parents are going to go see it, and they're going to love it, but you don't need to worry about that. It's not relevant to you, right? It's going to happen, but it doesn't have anything to do with you, right? Like, and this is where the vast majority of Americans have fallen. And this is a real problem, because I think this is sweeping into a lot of areas. Another one so government shutdown, those words mean nothing. They mean absolutely nothing. And the reason why is, you should have heard John Dickerson explain this. He's like, I know your eyes are glazing over already. And this is definitely something that's happening in the government, where if there's a lot of complexity, or if there's a high level of repetition, or if there's just so many things that can just take people's eyes away. So they're like, and we've gotten to the point where you could say government shutdown and absolutely no one cares. They're like, did you say government shutdown? Yeah, I've heard that 6 times in the last 4 years. That doesn't happen. So you can go kick rocks, right? And that's the issue. And I think we're getting more and more things that are like this. Another one is impeachment. I think impeachment is ruined. Impeachment means nothing, right? Oh, what is impeachment? That's when the Republicans get mad at the Democrats, or the Democrats get mad at the Republicans, and then they just impeach the current president. Not for cause, not for any particular reason, just because they hate each other, right? Impeachment doesn't, and it never works, it never sticks, right? And it's not a thing, right? It's just a motion that happens, and people are like, oh, look at that over there. There's the Watusi. They're doing the 2-step together. I'm sure it'll be done soon. I don't need to worry about it. And you're like, these words should have meaning. Impeachment should mean something. The words government shutdown should worry people, but they don't. We're just here. We're at a point where we kind of destroy really important functional aspects of our government and it's a bad situation. Every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion. Nothing more, nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking, subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.